good, everybody? And welcome if it's your first time being here. Welcome back if you're returning. I'm the Nappy Dreamer.
And I'm Kia Blaine.
And we are
we going to
the
say
Melanin Mindset.
The Melanin Mindset.
Yes.
Man, I feel like I'm having
if
some
it's your,
connectivity issues.
it seems to be that way, but that's all right, friend. We're going to go ahead and get kicked off. So if it is your first time viewing with us and you're viewing us on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on those notification bells because you'll be in the first to know whenever the Melanin Mindset goes live. If you have not yet hit share, go ahead and share this with someone you care about because we're about to get into it tonight, y'all. Look us up on Facebook, The Melanin Mindset, Instagram and Twitter, Melanin Mindset _ as well as TikTok, The Melanin Mindset. So go ahead and follow us on all of our social media platforms and we will keep the content coming, y'all. So with that being said, friend.
All right, y'all. Today we are talking about respect and whether it still exists. So you know how we like to do around here. We like to start with a good old definition. So what I did was I kind of broke this down in the definitions. So we're going to start with one and then kind of elaborate on that and then go to the next one and elaborate on that and so on and so forth. So the first definition we're going to be touching on is respect.
So the first definition is respect, and that's a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements.
That's crazy.
You froze, friend. Go ahead and keep going. I just read the definition.
I was good. And what happened? I think everybody in the house on Wi-Fi.
All righty then. So our next definition is going to be admire, which is a verb. Regard to an object, a quality, or a person with respect to warm approval. And then we have moral, which is your concern for principles that could be right or wrong behavior. So go ahead, friend.
So, girl, I was over here having a whole conversation with myself because apparently my screen froze, huh?
That's a fact.
Okay, so I don't know if I should repeat what I said because I don't even know what you said because I had to reload.
Girl, I just did the definition, so you go ahead and tell them what we're going to be talking about from there.
Okay, so basically what we're talking about is respect and whether respect still exists. Nappy has given you the definitions. So let's go ahead and dive deep into the first one, which was a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. So, I mean, that's basically like looking up to somebody or admiring somebody. But like, do people still do that? Because what I'm finding is very prevalent in today's society is hating. Like, people see somebody doing great, and rather than celebrate them, there's a lot on. Like, somebody can do something and you want to know how they could do it better, or they should have done, or they shouldn't have done. Why can't you just respect their ability, quality, or achievements and just let it be that? Am I making sense? Like, does in that aspect still exist? Do people still look up to people or have role models, or is it all that like, oh, okay, you did that, I could do it too, you ain't special?
But see, that's the thing though. I feel like it's okay to feel like if somebody can do something, I can do it too. But as far as like how respect is, like by definition, right? That admiration is dwindling, in my opinion. It's dwindled quite a bit. So when you're looking at it solid definition wise, it's like an admiration or respect or what is it? An admiration or a feeling, right? That is elicited by the abilities, qualities, or achievements of somebody else. So it's like when I see who you are, what you do, it impresses me to the point of admiration, right? And we shared the definition of to admire a thing is kind of like to regard it with a warm approval. So just the simple fact that people are no longer accepting what it is that someone may or may not choose to do. You know what I mean? That is where the huge gap for respect comes in. Now, I had a talk today. So I got off the road, stopped by the cookout with my family, and I ended up talking to my dad. Well, not just my dad and my aunt, my mom, and everybody. And I'm asking them, like, what's respect? So my dad broke it down like this, okay? My dad said that the truth of the matter is that respect is not necessarily owed to anyone, right? It's not necessarily owed to anyone. It is received by
Mm-hmm.
reflection, for lack of better words. So, in other words, your behaviors will reflect back to you through me. So, based off how you're treating me, not saying that just because you do me wrong, I'm going to do you wrong necessarily, but it's like based off how you're treating me, that is the reflection. You struggling over there, friend.
I
That is the
am. It's
reflection
okay.
of what you'll get out of me as far as, like a level of respect or admiration for the individual. So I like the way he broke that down. I really did, because it's true, not necessarily owed to anyone. However, depending on how that person reciprocates the way they want you to treat them. In other words, like the Bible says, treat others like you want them to treat you. Do to me
Mm-hmm.
what you want me to do to you, type of thing. And I feel like a lot of times people do not have regard for the fact that the what you did to me might come back to you.
Mm.
So that's where the respect is being lost. See, back in the day, I'm saying it like I'm 1,000 years old, but way back, it was more or less like I'm kind to you in expectation of your kindness in return. Now it's kind of like, whatever, this is who I am,
Because
this is how I
because
am, this is who I'm going to
more
be.
people to yeah, more people today have that attitude of like, I don't care about your kindness, I don't need your kindness. So yeah.
That part.
It's like it's almost like, I got my own thing going on, or I don't need the respect from you, so I don't have to show you respect because you don't do nothing for me, for lack of a better term.
I like this one right here. Everyone wants to be the smartest. I
Yes,
think that is the
child.
simplest way to put it. It's a constant battle for intellectual superiority.
Yes.
That is
And it kind of goes back.
definitely
It kind of goes back to like what I was saying about like how I like to celebrate my children, or I celebrate my accomplishments. And it's like, instead of you going, "Oh my God, that's so nice," or "That's so cool," you start telling me something about what your kid did or what you did, and it's just like, okay, yeah, and I am the one though that will reciprocate. That is amazing too, but I still be like, that ain't what we was talking about. But I'm still happy for you. But it's just odd that that's how you responded.
right. Or instead of getting somebody's feedback, listen, I had to lean in for this one. Instead of getting somebody's feedback when you tell them something that you have happening, like you said, you'll give them an accomplishment and then they'll rebuttal with an accomplishment. It's like that's not again what the conversation was about. Or you tell them, all right, so I had an idea to do this, da 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 da. Oh, I was thinking about the same thing 2 days ago, right?
Hmm.
Or I was just about to do the same thing. And it's okay because it's enough space for everyone to do
There
everything.
is That's the biggest
However,
thing people don't
comma,
realize.
when I'm expressing, it's sometimes where you're looking for someone to more or less reciprocate your joy, not necessarily poop on your joy with theirs.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
It
That's
absolutely does.
yeah.
Yeah.
So to the people who are viewing, what do y'all think as far as respect is concerned? By definition, now y'all, by definition.
I like this
Let's see.
one. That's
Which one
I
did you
think
just
it
put?
does, but as in all things, as time goes on, the way the turn plays out is different.
Oh, it says
I think
action.
it's just
Action.
action. The action,
Was
not
that the
turn.
one you were clicking on? Click on what you
No,
was
I
clicking.
was gonna click on Stan Temple, where he said respect seems rare because everyone's too cool to give props. They're worried about their peers resenting them for giving props, so they keep well, like, and that's the thing. Like, why would you resent somebody for giving props to somebody else?
Didn't we just talk about something similar to that the other day?
Yeah.
Well, the,
Well,
the other episode.
all of our conversations seem to have relation to the others.
Because it's like almost like that gatekeeping concept. Like I'm good at a thing, so I can't let anybody else know how I do that thing well. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
we did talk
I
about that. Like,
can't share my extensive knowledge on a thing because I'm
hmm
afraid you might take it and run with it.
yeah, and
Yeah,
like you just said previously, that what's for you is for you. Like, nobody can take that away from you.
yeah. I want to see that comparison. I see your note here, older generation versus the younger one. If we have anyone from the older generation that's viewing, and anyone younger, what do you all think as far as respect is concerned? Do you feel as
Like
though there is any
with
variation?
with respect with your peers. Like, do you let's say you're 50 plus, and you see that your colleague, friend, old friend from school is doing something successful, do you genuinely feel happy for them, or is it that like whatever, she thinks she all that, or he all right, he been trying to, this is the one, he been trying to do that for years, it's about time.
No, no, no. Ain't this the third business he done started this year?
Yeah.
That's the third one he started this
Well, if the
year.
third one ends up being successful, can't we just celebrate them?
Right. Oh, I
Hmm.
gotta genuinely
I gotta
happy for
genuinely
them.
happy for them. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right, Kimberly. So genuinely happy, and that's good. That's good because I see
And
some people.
I want to kind of do a disclaimer, because like as we're saying this, like I say, my absolute heart is to be genuinely happy for everybody. But sometimes, especially if it comes off in a manner of like, I just did it and now you gonna do it and now I'm supposed to be happy for you, I will kind of have a beat like, I know daggone well that I just, but honestly, I have to check myself. I'll never say it to that person. I'll check myself
Yeah,
like,
no.
girl, you in your feelings. Get yourself together before you communicate with this person.
Let's see here. We got. I'm not 50. You don't have to be 50
Mm-hmm.
to answer, but I
Mm-hmm.
love to celebrate people. Their joy adds to my joy, even when I'm down. It that that
Mm-hmm.
that is the times that I need to hear it the most. I almost read your comment there. I'm trying to, you can't, just gotta keep my head
Yeah.
up. Yeah. All right. But yeah, that's listen, I am happy when you're happy. I am
I'm happy for
encouraging
your
when you're
achievement.
sad. I am here to hug you if you need it type of deal. I'm
Mhm.
not looking to one up you. I don't need to one up nobody, okay? It's not my get down. Let's see, you reap what you oh. You reap what you sow. Why not be happy? Because when it's me, I'm gonna want the same in return. Now, what happens if you
Absolutely.
don't get that, friend? Do you feel like you feel almost hesitant to celebrate someone's win if they don't celebrate yours?
Yeah, no. I just check myself if I'm feeling salty, and I move on forward with what I know. I know what my genuine response would be, which is to genuinely be happy. But sometimes, that hood girl come out, or I'm like, man, I ain't celebrating them. But I check myself before it gets too far. I definitely
Mm.
will. I am willing to admit that I will be like, what? You did that? So and so did that a week ago, and now you doing the same thing? Like,
Listen,
but
I'm not.
no.
I'm
And then
not
I'll
gonna
be
lie.
like,
I'm
girl, don't
guilty.
hate. If they want to both do it, they gonna be good at it.
Listen,
I'm gonna just go
I'm
ahead and
so
support both
guilty.
of y'all. Y'all both selling t-shirts. I'm gonna buy a t-shirt from you, and I'm gonna buy a t-shirt from you, and I'm gonna keep pushing.
Now, listen. You saying a T-shirt from you, a T-shirt from them, right? So, what about this? Appreciation, because see, we're using respect by definition, so
Mm-hmm.
admiration or appreciation for someone spreading their support. Because imagine, right, let's say
Mm-hmm.
that you've been buying your stuff from me all this time, right,
Mm-hmm.
and then somebody else starts doing the same thing, and then you turn around and buy it from them, and then I turn around and get upset with you for buying from them. How do
That's
we
your
what about
problem.
those people?
That's your problem. That's your problem. I don't know what to tell you.
Mm,
That is that person's problem. Just like it's my problem for if I have a negative response first, that's their problem if they have a negative response to me supporting somebody else. That's their
word.
problem. I don't even know what else to say to that. That's
Yes,
your problem.
I've definitely experienced that before. I got locks, girl, and I don't let a whole bunch of people touch my head. But I had gotten my hair done one time with someone let them.
Oh
What happened?
no.
Oh Lord. But yeah, I just I've spread my support around, and I've experienced where they'd be like, oh, so you don't come see me no more? Like what? No, I know they're good at what they do, and so I let them, or even I do custom shirts,
Mhm.
and I'll buy a custom shirt from somebody.
Absolutely.
I'll buy a custom shirt
Absolutely.
from your business just out of genuine support. Yeah, Stan said, I'm not, I am. I'm sorry, Stan.
He
Sorry,
said,
sorry.
he
Let me
said I
correct.
am. I am a
I
big
am.
fan of
I am a
marriages.
big fan of marriages.
Hmm.
But at the same time, where I'm from, when I see engagements, I instantly wonder how long it's gonna last. Stan, you're not alone. Some marriages that I see, I wonder how long it's going.
Uh, the the truth. Some marriages I done seen that lasted long. I wonder how the heck it lasted that long. It must have been a lot of liquor involved.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Yeah, I to listen, and exactly, they do need to get over it. But I'm just curious, to see if anybody out there has ever experienced that, sharing your support and that experiencing backlash from another friend who you may have supported who may do the same thing.
But let me tell you something. Respect also in this definition, it says someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. So if I was supporting you in the beginning, but then somebody else came out with something that is of better quality to yours, or their abilities exceed yours, I'm going to want a piece of that too. Because I'm just the type of chick, I like the finest. So if the finest is next door, then that don't mean that I don't support you anymore. That just
Right?
means that now I'm gonna have your stuff and their stuff.
Period. You're gonna have stuff from everybody, okay?
Mhm.
So another thing we put over here when you're going to somebody else's house, right? So anybody ever been
Okay, wait, but
to
that falls under the second definition.
under which one?
You talking about when we go to other people's house, because that's a different definition. So
All
the
right,
first
go
one
ahead.
we're talking about with feelings of admiration, abilities, and qualities. But now we're talking about the second definition, which is due regard. Key word in this definition is due. That means that it is expected, it is required. Due regard for the feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others.
All right, so I didn't give them that one, friends. So that's good. I didn't give them that one.
Okay, okay, okay.
I
So
gave
that
them the three
that's
core definitions from the content.
it was there. It's there.
No, I see it. I see it now.
Okay, yeah, that was the second definition for respect. Due regard for the feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others.
So
So this
before you
kind
hit,
of go
go
ahead.
ahead. You
You
said
said
so. This
before
kind of go ahead.
I was saying, so this goes into that next where you was going to say when you go to other people's houses,
Mm-hmm.
it falls under this definition.
Okay. So go
So
ahead.
now,
Ask.
so now continue. I
All
just
right.
wanted to
If you
point out,
ever.
I just wanted to point out that it was a different part of the definition before we dive into that part.
I cannot. All right. So listen. You ever been to somebody's house and they don't wear shoes in the house, and then
Mm-hmm.
you didn't know that they don't
Mm-hmm.
wear shoes in their house, and you
Mm-hmm.
just walk in the house? Am
Mm-hmm.
I like automatically disrespectful for walking in their house like that?
No, you're disrespectful if I tell you, oh, we don't wear shoes in the house, and you be like, well, this ain't my house. Then you're disrespectful. Because
So,
I don't feel like disrespect is you doing something ignorantly. I don't think you can be ignorantly disrespectful, even though you can be ignorantly breaking the law. They still gonna take you to jail. They don't care whether you knew it was against the law or not. But when it comes to respect, I do feel like with this definition, if I didn't know your feelings, wishes, rights, traditions, I may offend them. But the part that makes me disrespectful is if I know it and still disrespect them.
all right. So I'm looking down to see something here. Okay. Before I say this, I wanted to make sure it wasn't duplicated. All right. So it says that's gangster. So,
Yeah, if somebody said, "Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you we don't wear shoes in the house," and you'd be like, "I don't care," and you keep your shoes on, yeah, that's when
so,
you are disrespectful.
so in
Mhm.
theory, right? You get a
Mhm.
pass initially as far as respect is concerned
Yes,
until you're informed.
that's me. That's my opinion. I don't feel like I could be mad at somebody for something they don't know.
Okay, 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 okay. And that same thing. I told you I was talking to my dad, girl. I was talking to my dad. My dad was just like, "No, it's not until no. If they tell you, and it's no."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It becomes
Yes.
disrespectful. You know exactly.
Yep. Exactly. When you find out.
Mm-hmm.
So in certain situations, like the next point says, kids with parents versus the kids, right? It's just expected that they will be respectful of their parents. But listen, my dad said that you have no way of knowing if a person is genuinely respecting you. The only person who knows if they're being genuinely respectful is them. He says, so you never know if you're actually receiving respect from a person. He said they could be being condescending, they could be
Mhm.
being patronizing. You know, sometimes kids fear their parents, he was saying. He's like, kids might fear their parents. That doesn't mean they respect them. That means they do what their parent says out of fear.
Mhm.
So when it comes down to that, how do you know? You can't identify necessarily that they're being respectful.
Me personally, I don't care.
Oh.
I don't care. That's your problem to unpack. If you being condescending and you being negative and you just doing it out of spite, that is for you to deal, not me. If I say take your shoes off, you come in my house, I don't care if you kick them off and throw a tantrum on the outside of the door, long as when you set foot in my house, your shoes is off. I don't care.
Mm,
Because that's like, just if you really think about it, that emotional response is something wrong with you. And I'm not participating in it. So let me tell you, I love my story times.
of
So
course.
I have 5 children. If you don't know, I've said it a couple times. All of my children respond to my directions slightly differently. Some will pout and like, oh, I got to do that. Some will willingly like, yeah, mom, they'll do it, but I'm sure they talking trash later. But in front of me, it's like, yes, of course, I'll do that, mom. And then, another one might be very vocal about the fact that they don't like to do it, but they do it anyway. And as a parent, I found myself getting upset a lot of times out of the things that they would say and do and how they would do it. But then at the end of the day, I had to realize, as long as the dishes is done, I don't care if y'all tear each other heads off about who gonna do it. I want the dishes done. I had to start to choose my battles, especially with it being 5 of them. I would stress myself out over every reaction I got of things I asked of them. So it's just, to me, like, long as I feel respected, I don't care how you look at it. I feel respected if what I ask is done. I don't care how it's done. Just do it.
Oh, let's see. Let's go to the
Mhm.
chat, okay? So
Mhm.
let's see here. We got Linda saying, once you're informed and you don't oblige, then you're disrespectful.
Period.
Period.
I
Let's
think we all
see.
have a consensus on that.
Definitely fear, not respect. However, it can also often produce the same result. Right, like what Kia was just
Absolutely.
saying, where she was like, the kids might huff and puff about doing them dishes, but them dishes got done.
Mm-hmm.
So
And the
they
thing about it
still,
is, they're never going to huff and puff to me. It's usually like an argument between each other, or they're in the room having their own little fit and think I don't hear them, but I can't see. So my ears are very good. I hear everything. So then when I'm hearing like the little bantering and stuff, I have to decide in my head, am I going to go out here and cause more commotion? And I'm just like, no, I don't care. As long as the dishes get done, the floor get mopped, and y'all shut my house down. I don't care. But if they were disrespectful to my face, oh, they're gonna catch these hands. But that's not the case. So yeah, okay, whatever. As long as it get done.
we got some more over here in the chat. It says, I've
Mm-hmm.
noticed that people don't like to be told what to do in any form, which is fine if they are in their own space and not a shared space. I'm sorry, that must be a typo. Or
A
owned by
shared space
another.
or
Yeah,
one or
a shared
one on
space or owned
another.
by another. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's true. That's true. And then you'd be surprised because I expressed to somebody this weekend over the event or whatnot, because there was a child there and I was like, hey, don't pour the ice out, don't stomp on the ice. And he was like, yes. And he turned around and walked away. And when it said, I was like, oh my gosh, I could put him in my pocket and take him home.
Aww.
And he just left it alone and walked away like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you saw his face, like immediately he felt remorse for what he did. And then he
Yeah.
was like, yes, okay. And he turned around and walked away. That was his version of now. Whether or not he was terrified as to what was going to happen is neither here nor
If he got snitched
there.
on,
Like,
that's why he made sure he was very amicable. Yes, ma'am. Walk away. Maybe she'll forget and won't tell on me.
right. I'm just like,
Mhm.
bro. But then I've also run into some kids. You'll tell them kids to quit, and they just kind of
Okay, all right, we gotta talk about. Um,
say it again. Say
ooh,
it again. Say it again.
you froze.
You
I
did. Go
froze
ahead. Say it
again.
again.
Let's see. I kind of wanted to tap on this comment again. Do you feel that parents today are more compromising than our generation?
Can we throw that back to Linda too, so we can see what she thinks, and then you go ahead
Yeah.
and give it.
Yeah, and then I'm just gonna go with the next comment that answered it. It says way more, but often we compromise for the wrong stuff because we don't want our kids to be mad at us. Okay. So what I think the previous generation was such an advocate for punishing in a manner of beating and punishing without the children having any type of voice. So I feel like this new generation of parents will at least take the time out to allow their children to express their um, position. And I feel like for the older generation, what that looks like is, oh, you being soft. But in reality, it is, I am allowing my child to express feelings because even though it's a child, it's still a person. And I remember us going through this with our oldest daughter because of course she caught the grunt of everything. I always say, thank you, baby. Sorry we were so rough on you, but you made us learn how to be better parents. But it was just like if you didn't do things my way, it was punishment, beating, all of that type of stuff. But then at the end of the day, like one day she did something and dad was upset and yelling at her and called her some names that were not very becoming. You don't want to be called these names. And she went upstairs and slammed her door. And he was about to go after her. Am I still in here? I didn't fuck out that, did I?
No, you stood there. I'm listening.
Okay. And I remember grabbing his arm, going, no. Like, no. Like, you just really dug into her heavy. She was not going to go upstairs skipping and be happy and lay down quietly. So, and it was funny because I want to say like 15, 20 minutes went by and she came downstairs and she apologized and she was explaining like I was upset because of da 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 and then daddy called me this and then da 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 and it was just I'm sorry. She apologized. If we had went upstairs and tore that tail up, apology would have never happened. We would have never knew why she was upset, things like that. And I just feel like to the older generation, it does look like these parents are soft, but I feel like these parents are trying to make a better connection. Now, honestly, yeah, I do see parents that's just like they don't want their kids to be mad at them. And I don't know what that's about because I could care less about you being mad at me. But I do want you to be a somewhat well-rounded adult that knows how to express your feelings without coming off like a nutcase.
Facts. And see, I'm an
Sometimes
aunt,
I will
so
go ahead.
you said sometimes you will what? You cut
No, I was
out when
saying
you
so
said it.
sometimes maybe instead of like, I might feel like I want to punch you in your chest, but instead I'll be like, okay. That's how you feel? That's fine.
And see, with me as an aunt, like I have that relationship with it's my nieces more than anything, truth be told. But I have that relationship with them where it's like you just come talk to me and say whatever. They have their little emotions and their little feelings, and I'll sit down and talk to them. By the time I'm done talking to them, they don't want to do whatever it was they did anyway. Like they don't want to come back to the
Mhm.
situation. But
Yeah,
at the same
no,
time, I
no.
make them rationalize. I force them to rationalize. Like you just did ABC, right? Why?
Mm-hmm.
And I make them look at what they just did and like you need to now justify what you just did. Because if it was
That part.
necessary, we need to figure out an alternative way to handle it. And if it wasn't necessary, we need that not to happen again. Okay? So either way, it just comes down like that. And I
Mm-hmm.
find myself sitting down and having those conversations with them, not necessarily yelling at them. Like when they was little, you'd be fussing and stuff, but I find myself sitting down trying to talk to them because I know, currently I
Yeah.
don't, currently I don't have any children, but my nieces, they spend their fair share of time with their aunts. So I take the opportunity to sit there and make sure that even if it means me informing their parents as to what took place. You get what I'm saying? I am have that open
Mm-hmm.
door and we make sure we're clear as to what you should and shouldn't be doing as opposed to I can't believe you. It's more like a girl talk, what's going on? What's going
Mm-hmm.
on. It's more of a gentle approach. But I see that comment section getting lit up. Y'all, we're going to address that
Mm-hmm.
comment section as soon as we get back. You know what
Mm-hmm.
time it is. So go ahead and stick with us for another few moments and we'll be right back. What's good, Mindset family? The Melanin Mindset is thrilled to announce we are the newest brand ambassadors for Dianu Apparel. Dianu Apparel is a black owned apparel company that offers trendy African inspired prints in each and every garment. They're offering our listeners 15% off their purchases just by using promo code Melanin Mindset. There's something for him, there's something for her, and there's even something for the kids. So head right over to dianu.com using the description link down below, or just simply enter Melanin Mindset at checkout and save today. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Looks like I lost Kia, but that's okay. So listen, I'm going to go ahead and share a few things on the screen with you all. Please do not forget we are currently doing the Adopt a Senior program, and you can adopt a 2022 high school graduate in support of the Melanin Mindset, giving us the support that we need in order to make this thing happen, okay? We're looking to send off 10 graduates. That's 10, y'all. So go ahead and share this with someone right now and let them know what the Melanin Mindset is attempting to accomplish this graduation season. Also, head on over to melaninmindset.org and purchase your mugs, your shirts, and get in on the Melanin Mindset family tee. Yes, you can have your official MFR t-shirt. Go ahead and drop that hashtag MFR down in the chat and let us know you are a dedicated viewer. So, for those who have not yet, the link down below will save you 15% on your Dianu purchase, clearance included. So, with that, friend, let's get back to this comment section. My goodness, y'all lit
Okay.
it up. Let's see. I agree with learning. Where's it? I agree with learning to be a better parent for your kids.
Okay,
Now,
so
the
I
first one was this.
okay, go back. I had to refresh my screen. The last one that I saw before we went to commercial, I think Linda said, "At what age should you have an opinion?"
Okay, so let's see. Do you feel parents today? All right, so the first thing that she said was in comment to what you were discussing before we went to break, where it said
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have a voice when they were coming up. So
Yeah.
she put, we had no voice. So that's
Mm-hmm.
probably why a lot of times it's the way it is. Stan says, I agree with learning to be a better parent for your kids. Jimmy says, I agree with that. We have another comment that says, they definitely are. I've got a friend going through it right now because she's determined not to raise her kids the way she was raised before or even trying to understand the previous generations.
Mm-hmm.
It says,
That thought process, and I get it, especially if you feel like you had such a traumatic upbringing or what have you. But one thing I learned is like the things that you want to do, the most successful people are successful because they do it out of a positive. It's like, I want my kids to be better adults. I want my kids to live a better life. I want my kids to be, well rounded. Those people tend to have um, a less strenuous time with how they deal with their children, rather than you just going, I'm not going to raise my kids the way my parents raised me. And let me give you an example. Like, if you were from a household where beating was very, like, you got beat for everything. So your kid does something and you immediately feel like you want them. But the only thing you could think is, I don't want to beat my child because my mom beat me. That's it. That's the end of your thought process. So now your kid is still a little asshole, and you haven't disciplined them, and they haven't learned consequences for their actions just because you refrained from beating them. But if your thought process was, I want my children to learn that there are consequences for their actions, then you will find an innovative way to discipline them that doesn't require corporal punishment, but still allows them to understand that there is consequences for their actions. Does that make sense?
absolutely. I love that. I love that. So, Linda said, at what age is she allowed to have an opinion?
Me and these Wi-Fi issues.
All right, well, I can hear you. So if you just hang with us audibly, we can hear you. All right, so at what age are you allowed to have an opinion? So if you're asking me, I
Mm,
would say that that opinion is valid from the time that you can voice it. So from the time that you can voice it, and it's what I mean when I say that is that when that human can explain themselves or express their thought, that's when they can have an opinion. Now, teaching them how to express the opinion, teaching them the right way to go about explaining themselves, that comes with time. But as far as when
Mhm.
can I express something makes me uncomfortable, as soon as I know how.
Absolutely.
As soon as you know how.
Mhm.
So Kimberly says, I'm an older parent, but I have my children an open door to talk. You can be mad, but you can express how you feel as long as you're not disrespectful. But I also tried them the truth about life and consequences if you do them. Okay, tell them the truth about life
Taught.
and
Either
consequences.
tell or taught. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's cool. That's dope.
Yeah.
She said not only that. So, but Kim, I'm curious to know, what do you mean as long as they're not being disrespectful? Because, like I shared before we went to break, my nieces, I let them come talk to me about whatever they want to talk to me about. And truth be told, if their emotions are raging, they can scream it if they want to.
Mhm.
But after we unpack, we're going to talk about,
Yeah.
why
Why
you
did you
felt
allow
you
yourself
had
to
to
get so
scream,
worked
like you
up
got
and all of
so
that?
angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't when it comes to that transparent space for them, I don't have that, okay, don't talk to me like that type of thing. Now, I'm not their parent either. So I have to defer to Kia for that part.
Yeah, but yeah, as an auntie, you can also be like, you know what? Don't send that booger over my house no more. But when it's your own kid, you can't do that. So you do have to establish those boundaries. And the hard part is it's usually hard to.
All right, so I'm gonna let her chime in on that when she reconnects back in with us. So Todd said, yes, parents are much more compromising. Expression is beneficial, but there must be boundaries in place. As a parent, So it says, as a parent, we should be teaching proper expression. Respect must be key. Too much freedom of expression without respect and structure and the no. So I'm gonna ask you too, Ty, if you can elaborate on that a little bit. I'm gonna ask you to elaborate on that one a little bit as well. So Stan says, I'm big on responsibility and accountability. My initial reaction may not be favorable, but we're gonna come back to the table. So in other words, you don't just push away. You might snap. If you snap, you make sure you fix it afterwards. And that's just part of being human. So yeah, let's see here. Kim said, my mother didn't talk to me about life and consequences. I made it my business to talk more than her so that they would have less issues than I had. I keep it real. Listen, I know Kim personally, okay? And that's a whole fact, okay? If transparency was a person, it is Kim. Let me see. I listen to my grandchildren's opinion and take their opinions into consideration. This is a new generation of child who are more intelligent. That's a fact. Friend, you want to go ahead and finish that statement you were making earlier?
I don't remember what I was making. I'm ready to throw the laptop across the floor. But to that last comment, I don't know if I can be heard. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, to that last comment, yeah, these children have more access to information. And back in the day, it was more like, you did what your mama said because that was your access to information. And now, like with everything just at your fingertips with the click of a button, a YouTube video, a TikTok video, and them being told certain things, it does make them more cognizant of what's going on and may challenge their parents more.
Mm. Let's see. Ori said, I could take screaming. Let me see. I could take screaming and expression, but I will not take screaming at me.
Not at
Right.
all.
That's a fact.
Not at all.
That's a fact. And when I say they can scream and they can holler and carry on, it can be in their way. Like, say she's crying when she's talking. I don't expect her to just cut off the tears and say, so if I have a moment to explain myself, I really got enraged because, no, it's not gonna
Yeah.
happen. She gonna be
Mm-hmm.
hollering. She's gonna huff and puff. Her nose probably running. She's snotting and carrying on. So she might be a little bit more boisterous in her description of what just took place, as opposed to if she's chill and nothing transpired. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't deem it disrespectful if when they're voicing themselves, they are audibly louder than if they were talking normally. Now, if they get crazy, I'm just like, all right, no, no, no. You're going to need to regroup and we got to come back because right now you can't even talk to me. And I'm one of those. I'm like, we're gonna have to regroup. If you want to stay here with me until you get yourself together, you can. We're gonna talk after you calm down, whatever. But as far as the noise level, nah, I don't really care. Let's see. I can't deal with any type of elevated voice. Only person that can get away with that is my mother.
Okay. So I wanted to like comment on something because I feel like this is a big thing, like with the newer generation versus the older generation. Like we have all these new generation has all these diet restrictions for their kids. My kid is gluten intolerant. I don't want them to eat pork, or they can only have organic drinks. They can't have fruit juice. No Capri Suns and no this. But when you go to grandma house or you go to auntie house, 9 times out of 10, you're going to give them that stuff. So is it disrespectful for auntie and grandma to give your kids these things that you decided to keep them away from, even though like they're out of your supervision, they're with them?
I think the same thing applies as to what we were talking about before about, well, whether or not you can be disrespectful if you're ignorant to a thing. So if you're ignorant to it, no. If you're fully aware and you still do it, yeah, you kind of wrong. But
So is it
the
wrong, like,
parent,
yeah, like, is it wrong for me as the parent then to keep my kids away from, let's say, my husband's parents because I don't want my kid in pork, and every time they go over there, they feed them pork? Like, am I wrong for that?
so if I think in future tense, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna just say no because the fact of the matter is, you can ask my parents, and like I said, I can only reference back to my nieces and nephews. But even when I send my nieces and nephews to my parents' house, I pack them jokers lunch. So if you're gonna send them off somewhere and you got these restrictions, pack them food. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes,
I know at
okay.
my
But I'm
parents'
gonna
house
give an
they cook.
example. I'm gonna give an example of a mutual friend of ours who just kind of expressed to us that like her daughter went with her mom for the weekend, and even though she packed her food and made her food, her mom was like, she made her a special oatmeal. Her mom was like, "I got oatmeal at my house," and it's just like,
Right.
okay, but I made this for my child, so could you please make sure she gets it?
That part. Listen,
Hmm.
that if you're packing it and sending it and they're still not feeding it to your kid, then yeah, they are dead wrong.
Yeah.
If you're telling them that you have all these restrictions and you send them over there with two long arms, in other words, their hands is empty, then they gonna eat what's in the house. Now you can't expect them to go out
Hmm.
and buy this special diet for your kid unless
Yeah, no, and
otherwise vocalized.
yeah, I think that's
You
excessive.
know,
Like
if
if you,
that's vocalized, that's different. Like y'all
hmm
discuss it, y'all talk about it, and you say, okay, so when they come over, are you able to give them what they need? I can pack them food, and then pack them food. But if they don't feed them what you pack, not, yeah, you dead wrong. Like, you're completely disregarding the desires I have for my child and for what I could potentially be trying to cut out of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I grew up eating fast food and other stuff like that, and then it ended up with me being overweight. I don't want that for my kids. So my kid does not eat the kind of food I grew up eating. So I
yeah,
pack it and I send it with them if they
yeah.
if they go. My goodness, they're killing this chat tonight. Let's
This
see.
one, I'm really feeling this one because I kind of, I definitely relate to this comment. When
All
we
right, you
teach
want me to
our
read the whole
kids,
thing?
yeah, you go ahead because who knows if my thing is gonna cut out.
Uh, yeah, and it's not showing the whole comment. My goodness, Todd filled us up here. When we teach our kids to voice how their own opinions, we must do so with the knowledge and expectation that they learn. Oh, it jumped again. They learn at home. They will practice in the world. What they learn at home, they'll practice in the world. They should know how, when, and why to voice said opinion. I am one of three and a father of five, and I've tried to raise my children utilizing a hybrid model: old school values with new school techniques and approaches. I think about how I felt when being shut down when I had a legitimate and possibly beneficial opinion or perspective.
Hmm.
Hold on.
Definitely deserve that.
That one right there. Listen, I
Definitely.
think I think not only did it address itself, but then it also resolved itself. So Fred, you go
Yes,
on and give some feedback on that
it
one. That was a
definitely
good one.
did. I definitely like that was just basically my whole thought process in a comment. Like, yes, some of the old school values were valid. A lot of them were, and a lot of them were to keep you safe and to keep you grounded. But at the same time, there was a lot of them that made us feel unheard or unnoticed, gave us insecurity issues of like, no one will care about my opinion, because if my own mama wouldn't listen to my opinion, it was the world don't care about my opinion. So I feel like this generation is definitely more on the turn of trying to make your opinion heard, because for so long, and especially as melanated people, shoot, it's hard for our opinion to be heard anyway. So at least if we hear it amongst each other and with our children, to let them know that they're what they say matters, it'll make them better at, going through the world without a chip on their shoulder.
Right. So this was one that kind of slid past us. It says, "Does the respect due to elders still apply? I'm a senior citizen and I still respect my elders."
Why? Why? Like, that statement never made sense to me. It's almost like a form of, and I can't think of a better way. It sounds like racism. Like, don't hire niggas. Why? What they do? Respect your elders. Why? What they do? What they do to earn my? Why? Why? Just because they
Listen,
old? Just because they didn't kick the bucket at an early time? I'm supposed to show them respect? Why? Because it's a whole lot of elders out here being disrespectful, and that somebody need to
just
put
because they old, they
in
being
check. Just
disrespectful
because they old, they run around here being disrespectful because you
and saying
old.
how they really feel. My
Uh huh.
dad, again, I told y'all I came into town and went straight over to the cookout, and I was talking to my daddy about tonight's topic because I was like, "Daddy, I need your opinion." And then I spoke to my mom and my aunt too. But my daddy was speaking true knowledge. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
He said straight up, and I mean with a straight face, kid. He said, "There is not a single person on this earth that just automatically deserves respect."
Yeah, and that
He
was
said
something
nobody
I
just
think I used to.
automatically
I
deserves
think
it.
I would just always tussle with that in my head, like respect your elders. And because I respected my elders, I never did say. But now that I'm old enough, why? Why? I want to know why.
Oh man, she like, "I'm curious. I got real questions." Let's see. Let's see here. Stan says, "I respect diet wishes, but pork bacon is the only bacon I'm cooking."
I'm done.
Listen, just don't put it on their plate, okay? Let's
Hmm.
see. Hardly anyone watch my children because their diet was for a reason, not a current fad or something that made my pride puff up. And not many understood that. That's the one I just read right there.
Hmm.
Let's see. Do you feel Linda with the questions? You getting it tonight, girl? Do you
Hmm.
feel
She
as a
couldn't wait. When I
teenager?
told her what the topic was, she couldn't wait. I think she wrote notes ahead of time.
Do you feel as a teenager and an adult talks to me in a way I don't deem as appropriate, I can speak to them the same disrespectful way they spoke to me? All right, so this is probably not the most PC response, but we transparent around here.
Mm,
So, like what was said before, you give it, you could get it. So
mm.
if they give it, they could get it. Like they're
They
eligible at that
and
point to
and
receive
in the
it.
melanin
Yeah.
community, 99.99% of the time, they will get it. The same
Yes.
way they put it out there.
Right. And so
Now
it's
what
like
now what we're
my
trying to say
initial
is that
approach will be
now
good.
what we're trying to say is the more mature of the two should come and say, well, the way that went by, I don't feel right about that. We need to talk about it more, blah blah blah. But in the heat of debate, in the heat of things like that, I don't necessarily count those as being disrespectful at the time, more so as an expression that I might not like the way you expressed yourself at the time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Whole facts. I'm quick to say, and I'll give an example. Let me give a story time because I've shared this with you already. I got a text message one time from someone, and they told me
Ooh,
that
this one right here.
I need to say blah 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 to somebody else because they need to do da 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 da. And I mean, she had capital letters, she had all her little punctuation in place, and my response was simply, make sure you text the right person.
Mm.
I think you text the wrong
I
person.
think you text the wrong person.
You definitely text the wrong person and then I at that my response, Linda, my response to them was, I think you text the wrong person. And then I said, please, when you text me, and I laid
Mhm.
out what I expect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a disconnect too, because there are people who are like, "Oh, you disrespectful," but they don't help you fix yourself. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, you can't run around and tell everybody I'm disrespectful if you never told me what I did that was disrespectful. It forms
Because
back to that
a
ignorant thing.
lot of people don't see themselves as being disrespectful.
Right. And
They
it's
just
like,
said what they had
if
to say.
I'm ignorant to the fact that what I just said, maybe that's how people in my house communicate. Maybe
Mhm.
they just get it off their chest like that. Maybe they are the family that checks everybody they come across. But
Mhm.
it's like, no, okay, because I you may have texted the wrong person. But if you're looking to reach this person, first of all, I'm not doing that because I don't do the middleman thing.
Mhm.
Second of all, when you come to request something out of someone, you don't come demanding. If you're asking me to do something, ask. You can't demand that I do anything.
I cannot stand.
Uh oh,
Make
what's
sure I
Stan
say
do
it
now?
clearly. I cannot stand to the disrespectful elders. Just tell them they don't have long. I'm so done. You play too much.
So
Um,
Linda said our elders back in the day didn't respect us. They set examples.
yes, and that's a big deal. Like I okay, um, I always say this. I always say that your kids, especially, are gonna do what they see you do. They're not gonna do what you say. So if they see you popping off and being disrespectful to your peers, your siblings, your parents, best believe at some point you're gonna catch it back the same way. If you sitting up and going back and forth with your young child and they pop back off at you, it's because, oh, I thought this is how we communicate.
Facts.
This is what I see all the time. So I thought
Or
this is
they're a
how we
reflection.
communicated.
Or they
Yes.
come out that reflection, because
Yes.
they'll go elsewhere, and then those be the main parents. Because when I worked in in the daycares and in the preschools and stuff, those were the main parents that was like, "Oh, my child would never." "Oh no, honey, yes
Mm-hmm.
they would," and they
Mm-hmm.
do.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not here to see it. Then you
Absolutely.
catch their parents on social media carrying on and acting up like that's why they act like that.
That is why they act
They
like
are
that.
doing what
They
you do.
saw it somewhere.
Right.
They heard it somewhere. Like, and it's probably within your four walls of your home.
Mm.
It is within your home. So,
So Ori shared that she's been disrespected by elders at an early age, that she never learned to respect them off right.
oh wow.
Mm,
That's disappointing.
that is very much so.
That's disappointing. Like, I always hope that there's at least one elder in your life that tells you the right thing and also tells you, like, just, and my thing too is, like, just because they're older or they've been here longer, like, they could be slow learners. They
I
might
always
not have
use
they might not have learned to communicate properly, and that's not to give them an excuse. You still don't deserve to be disrespected. You just remove yourself from their presence and their communication. But just to play devil's advocate, everybody ain't learned. Everybody not equipped to be that upstanding person or whatever.
I use my aunt as an example all the time. My dad's sister, I use her as an example all the time. I'm always like, when I was a kid growing up, my aunt, she would check you, right? But whenever she would check you, you never felt small. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you be done got a whole whooping and everything, but you just don't feel small.
Yeah.
Because it's like my aunt, she would explain things, or she would talk through things and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So even if she disciplined you, you knew, you saw it coming, like you could see it coming from a mile
Mm-hmm.
away, because you walked into it. Because she wouldn't have, like, I don't think I can ever think of a time that I was disciplined by my aunt where I did not know before the thing was done what the
Mm-hmm.
result could potentially be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I've seen where kids get into trouble, or experience where kids get in trouble, and they look utterly confused when they're
Mm-hmm.
getting in trouble. Like, I didn't even know,
Yeah.
But there was I cannot think of a single time
Like the
that
Camerons who get slapped after they talked all this trash. They'd be totally shocked.
that
I
part.
can't, I can't
I
believe she
cannot
hit
think of a
me
single
because
time
they didn't grow
because
up
she was
getting
that
hit because of
elder.
their mouth.
Yeah, she was that. Well, I guess, when I was coming up, she wasn't all that elder, but she was my senior. So
Yes.
with that, it's I received that from her. So in turn, I've always, my entire life, I've always given her back that same, you know, kindness and sincerity, because that's
Mm-hmm.
always, I've never gotten less than that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like to see that, and then not even one Ori. like, like I mean, like we got a few more minutes. You think real hard, way back. Like not even one.
Not even one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was a teen
We
before I found
definitely gonna have
elders
to
that
have a
was
part
worth me
two.
listening.
I definitely feel like this is gonna have to run into a part two.
We're gonna run it next week, part two on Monday.
Yeah, because I still got a whole sheet of stuff.
It's a whole bunch of stuff on there, and you all are really giving us with this commentary over here in the chat. So we're trying
Mm-hmm.
to make sure we address everybody and then get a couple of these points in. But guess what, y'all, we're gonna go in and pull it in. We're gonna pull it in, but we're gonna come back next week. Next week, respect part two, RESPECT part two.
Yes,
That's
because
what we're gonna
clearly
do.
everybody was thinking about this like we were.
Right, they were, and I mean to a point where I don't think I've spoken to anybody this week when I
Yeah.
didn't ask them, "Do you think respect still exists?"
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a single person I've come into contact with this week where I did not ask that question or pose the question in the room with them, and it's just out of a sincere place of wanting to comprehend, because I think some of the other things that we have here in our notes are going to help you all to understand a little bit better why we want to clarify whether or not necessarily saying it doesn't exist, but
Mm-hmm.
understanding so many different ways that people can
That
see someone as disrespectful.
Yeah. And also understanding how you can operate in a disrespectful manner and also how you can operate in a respectful manner. And it's like to be respectful doesn't mean to compromise. And I feel like that's what a lot of people tend to like, oh, she don't deserve respect. She out here doing da 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 da. But just because someone's doing da 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 doesn't mean that they don't deserve basic human respect. Like
Decency.
because let's say because I'm promiscuous, I don't deserve for you to take my business and blast it all over the internet. Like that's a level of disrespect. Just because you might know my business closer than somebody else, you going out and talking about me or belittling me, I don't deserve that. You
Facts.
know what I'm saying?
Facts. Listen, shoot, if she's promiscuous, never mind, let me not say it that way. Who knows what age group is watching? So anyway, um, so with that being said, mindset family, we're gonna go ahead and turn the corner.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's about that time, y'all. We closing out for the evening. Thank you all so much for your loving support. We do appreciate each week that you all tune in. Please continue to share our content. Oh my gosh, we're watching the numbers grow, y'all, and it's making our
Yeah.
hearts so warm and
Thank
fuzzy.
you so much. We
To
really
those of you all who ordered and received your Mindset Family t-shirts, please hashtag official MFer. You should be able to find that hashtag right on your sleeve. Okay.
Mhm.
Hashtag official MFer, tag the Melanin Mindset on whichever platform you follow us on. If you follow us on all, feel free to spam. We don't mind. All
Mhm.
right. We'd love to see you representing your Mindset Family tee. All right. And you can check us out on themelaninmindset.org, where you can purchase your items. Sign up to be a sponsor for the 2022 high school graduate program, all while staying in connection and in tune with the Melanin Mindset. So, one last request before you go. If you have not already, go ahead and smash that share button and share this with someone you care about. Remember, during the week, you all protect your peace. Next week, we'll be back with Respect Part 2. So bring those questions if you had any comments that you wanted to share, anything that you felt like you needed to say that you did not get out today, bring it on next week, because we do want to talk to you all about it. And we want to hear where you all stand as far as respect, expectations, and what do you think is even what is disrespect?
What
So
is it?
we can get into it next week. All right. So same channel, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And friend, you got anything else to say?
I do not. Just go out there and be respectful, y'all.
All right. So with that, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in this evening. We will catch y'all same time, same channel next week. Good night.
Arias